Hi Cancer, welcome to your July 2016 General Tarotscope. It's Raina here, and so this is your birthday month, and this means that the sun will be in your first house for most of the month. You have a new moon there on the 4th of July, and a full moon in the opposite house in Capricorn on the 19th of July. So you could see relationship issues kind of come to a head on July 19th or thereabouts. And let me see, what other concentration of energy? Well, the sun goes into your second house towards the end of the month. So there is this, with the sun in Leo, there's a great emphasis on your earning ability. And so I feel like maybe this is going to be a good money time for you as well. So definitely thinking about how you present yourself and things like that. Mars is now direct in July, and it's in a friendly angle as the month begins, because it will be, actually, tell you the truth, for the whole month, because it will be in Scorpio. And Scorpio is a fellow water sign, so you know how that goes. It's your fifth house. The overall energy is the Nine of Swords. So this is a card of feeling a sense of anxiety. And you see that the wrists are bound. The person feels trapped in some situation, but it's mostly on the mental realm, because the swords indicate like thoughts, communication. So the person, for some reason, you guys are concerned over some issue. And if I look at the recent past, I get the Ace of Pentacles. So it can relate to some sort of job offer. It could be a new relationship with an earth sign individual. And that, makes me think, because the Ace of Pentacles is a very positive card. So there's every possibility that you are worried over nothing. That you are just, maybe you're worried because it's so good, you don't want anything to get screwed up. So this may be something that you have gotten into a habit of doing, and maybe you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. If I look at the higher perspective, I see that we have the Emperor card. The Emperor card connects with Aries, astrologically, but in general, it indicates those people who are in the military, police officers. I would even kind of go along with judges. So this may have something to do with a divorce case, I feel like, and that the Ace of Pentacles could have to do with your, agreement, financial agreement, and maybe it's making you feel like you can't really be sure if it's going to be good enough, or you're going to have to be on your own. I immediately thought of a single mother, but it could just mean, the Emperor could just mean in the higher perspective position that you are being too rigid in your thoughts, and that this is leading to your sleepless nights. Because we have a positive card in the middle, it's very probable that you are doing this to yourself. You're creating the anxiety, and it's not helping. It's only hurting. The Emperor card, as a higher perspective, is asking you, are you being too rigid in your belief system so that you cannot accept any other outcome other than one specific outcome? And this applies whether you're in a personal relationship with a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn individual, or it could also be saying too that you have met an earth sign person, and you're currently with a Swords person, which is an air sign. So a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And maybe this person is causing issues. So the higher perspective would be, why are you so adamant that you only have this option over other options? Like, let's say the person who is an air sign, who you might be married to, and I would say specifically, if that would be a Libran, maybe a Gemini on occasion. If this person is somebody who is not compatible with you, but you have very rigid ideas about marriage or about, what would be the best for your child, then you may stay in this situation. But look at what the situation is like. There's a feeling of bondage. There's a feeling of a lot of lack of harmony, lack of peace, lack of serenity. So it doesn't really make sense, but maybe you hold on to these outworn ideals. The energy that is kind of crossing you is the King of Cups. Okay, so this may be what the problem is in the relationship. It could be that this person is exhibiting the energy of the reverse King of Cups, which is how I read this position. So if you're with somebody who is very cold, who's actually cruel, again, this will primarily be on the emotional level. And it could involve they could involve like words. It could involve them, cutting you to the quick. Verbal abuse is what I mean to say, but also shutting you out emotionally. Maybe this person is very temperamental. They could actually have bipolar or some kind of chemical imbalance or personality disorder where they are not stable during certain times. They call it cycling. Sometimes they're okay. In the case of somebody who's bipolar, and this person may not even be diagnosed, but basically the typical pattern that it follows is that they can be on top of the world, they can talk really quickly, they may be the life of the party, and they may even be very nice to you during this period, and then they fall into a dark hole, and they may become uncommunicative, they might become morose, they may just withdraw totally. And those types of people, we can look at it a lot of times that they are really suffering within themselves. But it can be just somebody with a personality disorder, but I mean of their own making, where they are very self-centered and selfish and cruel. And you may feel trapped, but you don't know what to do about it because you think that marriage is supposed to be forever, or that your children will suffer as a result of a divorce, and you're not taking into account what they're suffering with now. And I just feel like for some of you, you may be trapped of your own making. And also, if we look at this card in a different sense, this could be somebody who is presenting themselves to be everything to you. And they say all the right things, but there are little red flags that they may not be that person. And, if you're dealing with somebody who is a womanizer, now the King of Cups is more of a mature influence in the upright position. The Knight of Cups would be more of a ladies' man. But remember, I'm reading this as an obstacle position. So it's going to have more of the negative connotation, which is the reverse position. And it could be somebody who is really manipulative and who knows exactly where to go with you. So, I didn't think of it this way. It could be that you are with a water sign. He could literally be, but he might not be. He might even be an air sign with a lot of water in his chart. So water signs are Cancers like you, and Scorpios and Pisces. Let's say he had a moon in Cancer, or he had Pisces rising, then he might still exhibit some of these qualities in the negative manifestation. And when you have these two watery elements coming together, there can be a lot of, mutual manipulation going on, and too much drama, too much heaviness in the relationship instead of, fun times, that you kind of drown in that emotion. And this is, the end result. So the energy to tap into is the Moon card. And this is the card of intuition. And because you're a water sign, you naturally have this ability. But, this is one of the reasons why when they talk about psychics, not being able to pick their own lottery numbers, a lot of times people are so subjective and wrapped up into their own thing that they can't read for themselves. They may have all the wisdom in the world for other people and not for themselves. And maybe this is just part of the human condition, but definitely you have this intuitive quality just naturally. It's not something that you have to really develop, but some of you may reject it, especially if it's very strong within you, because either you were talked out of it. I have this biography of Edgar Cayce, who is a very famous American psychic, long since made his transition. But he grew up in the Bible Belt. He grew up in Kentucky, and they didn't take very kindly to, psychics in the Bible Belt. And even when he was a kid, he was displaying these abilities, like being able to see his dead grandfather, I believe it was, and, they did not appreciate that. So you may have had similar experiences, and so maybe you shy away from anything like that, but sometimes it's to your benefit to do so. And also creativity, and we always forget about that, because sometimes I feel like creativity is a great alternative to meditation. It's a form of meditation. And it's very active. So a sign like Cancer, which is a cardinal sign that likes to do things, may prefer, knitting a scarf rather than, humming in the lotus position. So, just putting it out there on that level, because maybe that can help to clear your head and to get you back in the right frame of mind so that you are able to take care of this. Now, it's so funny. Why do I always go into the love thing? This is supposed to be a general reading. And I spend all this time talking about love because that's just where I go. I do, love readings every month separately. And I was saying to myself, okay, I'm going to focus on career, okay? But let me just say very briefly the alternate version of this for people who have career concerns. Maybe some of you will have gotten a job offer and you're concerned about it because of some, memes that are rattling around in your head that have nothing to do with the reality of the situation. The memes are about what if, because you might have a very rigid kind of a mentality about whether or not it's going to pan out, and it's whether or not it's a safe bet, and whether or not you should take the job offer. And so something like that can make you upset. And then it could be that this card here is actually, because sometimes I read this as a behind the scenes influence. It might be somebody who puts in a good word for you, who is a water sign, or you may have a boss. Maybe this new job is going to have a boss who is very sympathetic to you, and you get on famously. And it's just going to be a matter of you trusting in the universe to kind of align you with the job that is right for you. And that will be with all the pieces fitting into place, not just, one aspect being good, like, having a nice salary, but that you're going to get along with your coworkers, you're going to have a nice boss, and all of this thing happen. Maybe you are going to. Maybe this is kind of like an influence that hasn't made itself known, but is there for you. So I can read it that way as well. And so the attitude with the moon card is to flow into it and not try to push it overtly and try to exert your will over it, but to just go with the flow and trust that the universe has your back. The advice is the Queen of Swords. Boy, I'm having trouble with it focusing right away for whatever reason. So the Queen of Swords is, I think, you, and it's asking you to blend that feminine principle of the receptive, which is what the moon card represents. And by the way, this is your ruler, so that may also be significant. But it's head over heart, the Queen of Swords, but it's not a kind of cold detachment. It's more of it's a detachment that also is a compassionate one. And so if there is some kind of relationship issue and you are wanting to break free from it, then you're going to have to detach, but maybe you can detach with love. Maybe you can detach with kindness. If you are a mother, because this really does relate to the mother, or if you're a father who really is a nurturing father, this energy of the Queen, coupled with the swords, is saying that you have to really love your child in a way that allows them freedom of movement. And instead of like being smothering, which is kind of a Cancerian habit of being overprotective, okay? And it's really funny because I get like some of these cards, I get this idea of somebody who is trapped in a bad marriage, but is still worried about how the child is going to fare if he or she gets divorced. And, this card is loving your child and yet seeing the logic of the situation, kind of in a way that doesn't allow your emotions to seep in to color things. And that would be that you would do the right thing for your child and not be afraid that your child will be irreparably damaged because of your decision. But you're making a decision without being clouded over by emotion, which might have you do something that you really don't want to do. The outcome is the Page of Cups. Now, this can actually mean that you end up choosing for the sake of your child, because pages can equal cups. But this could be a message that you receive that is about love, that is about affirming some kind of situation that has occurred. Again, who knows, maybe this person, maybe you're talking to somebody who's an earth sign, and you're talking online, somehow you're communicating over the phone or online, even though you're currently in a bad relationship. That may be just saying that you have this channel of communication open where love is present. It could also be saying that some of you will be in a new relationship. So it's the early stages, being a page, It's an early stage of a love relationship, and the love is emphasized, not the sex, not the material gains, but the love. So, because there's so much nice energy here, a lot of intuitive energy, there may be something that is making you feel very innocent in love. And so you're in that fresh phase, and it feels really nice. If this is related to job, it's possible that you will make a decision whether or not to accept this job, and you will do so in an impassionate way. You're not going to allow any worries to get the best of you, or you're not going to allow any sentimental thing to get the best of you. So, because what if the job involves travel and you're afraid to leave? You're not going to allow that to interfere with you making the best decision that you can. And the outcome would be that you are in this, it's a very psychic energy, the Page of Cups. It's artistic. So I go back to the moon. Maybe some of you are doing creative work for a career. Or maybe it's just your hobby or something that you want to make into a career, because I did pick a card from the bottom of the deck. I was trying to fit it in. I had to start the reading over again, but I did pick the Ace of Wands, and I was going to say that this kind of crowns the reading, just like a general energy, and this is like a new phase that has to do with your own business or a new job, so it kind of goes along with this card. It could be a new affair. It's fiery energy associated with the fire signs. So yeah, so I feel like there's creativity happening for you, Cancer, in however that applies. And so I hope that this was helpful for you in some way or inspiring, and that you resonated with at least a little bit of it. It's a general reading. If you'd like a personal reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a wonderful July. Bye.